the button now.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to share my screen. And then hopefully I'll put it on present. Once it's on present, I won't be able to see anything. So if there's anything in the chat,
Yeah, I shall
I'll
let you
pick it
know.
up. Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Brilliant. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. As Sarah said, my name is Ros Hicks, and I'm Head of Media, Business and Digital Industries at City College Norwich, which means, in a nutshell, I look after all the subjects in those broad areas. But under digital is digital T levels, digital art, animation, game design development, as well as the digital T levels. Obviously, we're on the business and admin meeting this afternoon. So within business, I've looked after the preparation, the setup and delivery of T-level foundation year in business and T-level business as well. So my email address on there. I'll put it in the chat as well if you wish to, or you can find me on LinkedIn, where I put posts about what our students are up to in all my sort of T-level and T-level foundation year activities. So just to give you a quick overview, and I'm not going to talk about this for a long time, but City College Norwich was an early adopter of T-levels, and we set up and delivered digital production design development, construction education as of 2020. And since then, you'll be able to see that as a college, we have grown and expanded our T-level provision. As I said before, I look after digital and I look after the business. And with business and admin T-levels, we do team leadership and business support. And we've now got our first years and second year groups in both of those pathways at the moment. So all good so far. So we'll hope well for the future. T-level foundation year, we didn't kick off straight away, obviously, with T-level foundation year in 2020. That was education and childcare, but I have been doing digital since 2021, and our first cohort of T-level foundation year business was in 2022. So this is our second year through. So we've had 1 year to kind of find our feet and evaluate what went well and what we need to aim for to improve. So we're still learning as we go, and in no way, shape, or form am I saying we've got this right. I'm not here to sort of say this is what you should be doing. This is just to give you an example of the kind of things that we do, so you can get some ideas from us and share good practice, and support each other as we sort of make our way for the minefield of T-level and T-level foundation year. I thought it might be useful as well, before I launch into English, Maths and Digital and how we embed that, just to have a look at what our T-level foundation year looks like in business. We have one cohort at the moment. Next in September, we could fill two potentially, and have two cohorts running alongside. We're toying with whether one of those should have a marketing focus in preparation for the marketing T-level coming on board in 2025, but it's all up for discussion when we haven't quite finalised everything. But anyway, at the moment, currently, our T-level foundation year is not seen as a drop-down year. It's not seen as the year where this is where the T-level, who didn't get onto the ones, this is where the failures go. It's not seen as that, because it's seen very much as these learners will be here for 3 years instead of 2. And during this foundation year, we focus very much on developing them ready for the T-level the following year. In some cases, the learners have already achieved the right entry requirements for T-level, but they are not confident for a placement, or they've got mental health challenges, or they're just not ready for academic level study. Maybe they've been homeschooled prior to that, or they've got an EHCP and are not ready for the full-on sort of 4 days of T-level, 1 day of work experience straight away, or into placement straight away. So we use this as a year to develop yourself, and we see them very much as on a 3-year T-level journey. Although we embed a qualification, and with ours is the NCFE Technical Award in Business and Enterprise, we teach the course holistically. So every aspect of the course, every part of the T-level foundation year donut, if you like, it is taught holistically. But we try and incorporate everything within that into the program of study, so learners feel they're on a T-level foundation year. They're not, today we do this, another day we do that. We don't do it like that. We very much have, this is a program of study, this is what you need to do. So the qualification we've embedded does cover the vast majority of the NTOs, but obviously we extend, stretch and challenge to ensure that everything is covered in full. We also have T-level students that are on the T-level, They mentor the T-level foundation year students and offer support and advice and tips, if you like, on what they need to focus on to get onto the T-level. We use the ones that have done our foundation year first in particular, so because they've got that knowledge and experience, and they know the kind of things that they need to stretch and challenge and push onto the T level. Obviously, if our learners need GCSE English and GCSE Maths, that is a timetabled lesson. But some of ours who've already got fours still go into those lessons to get fives or sixes because that's what they want, and we support that because we think for each learner that's what they want to do. So we try and bespoke programs as much as we can. So everything is embedded discreetly, including English, maths, and digital skills. But we do tell the students they are developing the English and maths and skills at the same time. We actually put it on the assignment sheets. We sort of try to support our English and maths colleagues with that, so that it's much more integrated. And that's a big change from this year to last year. Is we're not saying this is our course, this is their course. We've tried to work a little bit more with the teams to make that more slick, if you like. So in addition to the teaching, all courses have a tutorial supervisor that delivers an hour of PD and tutorial topics. But also, in addition to this year, is an academic tutorial where the course leader has an hour a week, potentially just for one-to-one academic support on top of the PD, on top of everything else. So we've really started to invest in our T-level foundation year students to give them the skills to be able to progress up to the T-level. Root-based project is long and thin. I'll talk about that in a moment because that's one of the examples I'm using because it does showcase quite a lot of skills. Work experience was a block placement at the end of the year, and obviously we have lots of employer engagement to support that. So that's trying to kind of give you a flavour of our approach. And I think explaining that will sort of help to understand what we're trying to do to make this program be successful. And as I said, we don't always get it right. Look at our progression from last year. So we had 19 complete to the qualification. Only 4 of those moved to T-level business, which is around about 20%. 2 moved on to T levels in other subjects, one in construction, one in health, I think. 5 moved to other college courses at level 3 or above. Someone went off to do a level 3 business administration apprenticeship, which is still a successful outcome. And the other 6 are in employment, so they went into full-time work or work with training. So we know we haven't got it 100% right because our progression rate is low at the moment, which is why we've spent so much time reflecting and trying to get it right for this year. And it is working this year because we have more students saying they want to progress onto the T level, and we're trying to work with those to ensure that actually happens. So we know T levels are academic challenging. I wouldn't put a young person on a T level without grade 4s in English and maths. Not only for the fact it's academically challenging, but the fact that you've got a lot of hours to teach before you get to ESP hours and your occupational specialism hours. So you've got to squeeze a lot of stuff in. So asking a young person to do that, retake an English or a maths alongside it, and an industry placement is actually a lot for a young person to do, and probably much more than if a young person was to do 3 A levels. So therefore, thinking about it a little bit, taking a step back, that's why we sort of work so hard on the foundation year to improve those English, maths and digital skills. Also, long term, most HE courses or apprenticeships at level 3, 4 and above require a learner to have 4s in GCSE English and maths. So therefore, developing those skills in foundation year is also setting them up in a stronger position for their futures. And that's really important as well, we feel, is what we do here is only one step on the ladder of their own personal journey as a young person. So we try to give them as much skills as we possibly can to ensure they move on to where they want to be. So therefore, one of our targets this year was to make it absolutely essential to support, develop English, maths and digital skills within the curriculum. So as you know, if you're already delivering, these are your 3 national technical outcomes. The booklet that you have from the Department of Education or off gov.uk is really helpful. It's really been expanded this year from the previous year. So every year this framework expands, and it gives you more information and more things to think about on how to develop your own curriculum planning and sort of delivery. So you've got more things that you think, oh yes, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. So it is good. So within your NTOs, you've got one for assessing performance of the business, one for change, and one for collaboration as a team member. And I'm going to give you a few examples of some of the work that we've done, where we embed English, maths, and digital. So I've done it like this. I didn't know how to do it, so I've just gone some examples like this. So outcome one, for example, is the I've already forgotten. Anyway, so this is about you're going to set up a new limited company selling books in Norwich and need to decide on how it will be funded and to develop financial forecasts and documents to present to key stakeholders. Your new business will be called the City Bookstore. So over a course of a few weeks, they will have lessons on the different aspects of finance and complete a short report, costs and revenue, financial forecasting, qualitative summary, etc. So that's what they have to do, and they have to present to key stakeholders. So then within that, we teach the sort of skills of English, maths, and digital, the reading and comprehension, the number ratio, statistics, and also this is all done on Excel. So we teach them spreadsheets as well as the maths. So there's lots of things that integrated within that, so that the young person's learning not only how to assess a business financially, but also to think about the kind of skills they are developing. Presentation requires sort of oral communication, etc., but also reading and comprehension, synthesizing data, interpreting data, lots of maths in there, lots of digital in there. Then you've got outcome two, which is about change, and one of the examples I just chose was business growth. And working in small groups, you must research and find a successful joint venture between two businesses that occurred due to a need to change their business direction and or their operations. Please discuss your findings and as a group prepare a PowerPoint showcasing your research, including answers to the questions below. Prepare to feedback to the class. So again, it's another presentation. We do a lot of this. The reason being, on the T level, they have to do presentations. So we embed this quite a lot. But obviously, part of that also is thinking about sort of English skills as well. And obviously, we've got the aspects there of the assignment in terms of what they would have to find. So describing a joint venture, identify the reasons for it, benefits and outcomes. And again, I've listed the English things that English aspects that we promote to the students, we teach the students, we support them with that, and all the digital ones as well in terms of putting a PowerPoint together, but also writing and using those editing skills on the computer as a two. And the last one is about team collaboration, and this is our route-based project. So our route-based project is event planning, and this is done in conjunction with an event planner as well. So we have an event planner, a local SME come in and do some workshops with the students about event planning as well. Because this kind of planning is really key skill to learn ready for the T level, because that's all about project management, etc. And they're in collaboration, so they're put in teams. They plan, prepare, organise and run and evaluate a Christmas market to raise money for a local charity. And then you can see what we get them, how they get it. So they have to write a report each with those headings on. And well, number 8 is a presentation. Again, we're trying to get those skills ready for the T level, ESP and occupational specialism. But you can see the kind of aspects we go through for our route-based project, how we approach that, but also the wealth of English, maths and digital skills that's embedded in that, and we sort of teach as we go. So we will actually have lessons on how to write a report, how to do referencing, how to write for meaning, at plagiarism, etc. So we actually teach skills they need to access this particular project in the lessons themselves. Maths, when you're looking at marketing analysis and etc., primary research, secondary research, all of that data analysis there, and obviously the digital skills that come through that. And we highlight these on the assignment sheets as well, or the task sheets, so that it's absolutely clear that young people can see how they're developing within the subject their own English and maths skills. So I'll come off now and I will stop sharing my screen. And I hope that was helpful.
Definitely very insightful.
Good.
Brilliant. So, as Ross says, the opportunity for questions. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions that they would like to ask now, or whether we start our discussions first and then questions sort of naturally form from that discussion as well. What I would like to say before I forget as well, on the 20th of March, we have a business and admin networking session taking place, and Rosie's colleague is hosting it with me, Vanessa, who again is part of the team who delivers the business administration T-level and T-level foundation year as well. So I will put the link into the chat as we start our discussions as well. I truly recommend that you sign up for it as well, because again, Vanessa comes with that experience as sort of delivering it. And the key thing that Ros has mentioned is they've been very reactive to change. And that's what Vanessa's going to talk about as well, how they've adapted and evolved the programme as well. So what we're going to do now is have some thoughts and ideas from yourself, about how you perceive you're going to embed English and maths and digital into your foundation year. So would anyone like to start the discussion with some thoughts and ideas about activities that you potentially have got and you're thinking of adapting to meet the profile of the foundation year?
Can I just get everyone to say who they are, where they teach, and where they are on their journey? So, because some people might be in delivery, some people might not be starting.
Sorry, my mind is thinking about discussion. Yeah. I've got it written down clear in front of me. Don't forget to ask. Yeah, just like I've got the record button in front of me as well. So yeah, sorry, Ros, not on the ball today at all. So let's start with Hayley.
Sorry, I was just trying to unmute myself then. Okay. My name's Hayley Wood. I'm the teaching head of business at Vision West Notts College in Mansfield in Nottinghamshire. We aren't delivering yet. We are going live with both the foundation year and the T level in September 2025. So we're very much at the start of our journey for business and admin.
Excellent. Denise.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Denise. I am head of business and accounting at Tresham College, part of the Bedford College Group. We have started delivering T levels a couple of years ago. So we do the management administration level 3, and as of this year, I've started delivering the accounting T level as well, which does lead me into 2 questions if I'm okay to go.
Yeah.
Do intros. It was just because I didn't know whether, with regarding the embedding of the qualification.
Yeah.
We know that we currently do BTEC, and BTEC can be very rigid when it comes to IQA and EQA and how it's done and specification, etc. And I see that you did the NCFE, which I know when I've looked at that previously, they're not as rigid with their assessment strategy and everything. Do you find that for me to do the foundation, did you notice that and come away from BTEC specifically, or were you always doing NCFE previously?
No, we did BTEC previously. It's the size of the qualification that I would worry about. That NCFE is a GCSE equivalent. So therefore it's guided learning hours are 120, I want to say. I'd have to look it up, but it's a lot smaller.
You to do the embedding of the maths, the English, and the digital.
Absolutely, but also that particular qualification has 2 aspects. It has one written exam in June, and it has a synoptic assessment or controlled assessment, which mirrors the ESP. So there is a reason we chose it, and it's just got some similarities. BTEC are rigid. They are rigid, and I would worry about the size of them if you're trying to do everything else in the T level.
That was my worry. And seeing you have jumped ship, it makes sense. Exactly my worry. And then the other one was I was hoping, because I do my courses across 3 campuses, I was hoping I could somehow amalgamate accounting foundation in with business, so they could then go into either route. Do you think that can be done, or am I in a fairyland?
Well, I'll go with a yes, but Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, you can. See, what you can do is you register the learner on one of the foundation year programs. but then you can sort of amalgamate them together. It's common practice. I mean, I'm the
tailor
same
it.
as Ross, the same background in business, and I've always sort of merged those classes together because of the holistic approach of the foundation year. If you
Yeah.
think outside of, like you quite rightly said, running a qualification, as Rosa says, they don't sort of run it as a qualification. Holistic delivery, you will have those common themes that are both in the world profession of sort of legal and administration. They all come together. So
Yeah.
I would look at it like that. You
Yeah.
look at it holistically. Yeah, don't try and build your course around the qualification as such, you know. The smaller hours, as Ross says, allows that holistic approach, and it allows that flexibility. It allows the reactiveness. It allows you to really sort of bring those English and math skills in as well. So yes, you can do it, and I've seen it done before. Yeah, and it is good practice, and for a variety of reasons around funding,
Yeah.
GLH, of staffing and things like that as well.
And
They're
one way
fantastic.
we've
They are both correct answers. Well done.
yeah, thank you very much. And one way we've looked at that is that if you've got small groups as well, is that you could have the mixture of, if you like, the T-level foundation in one class, and then one day a week is when they do their NTO. So one day a week they would do their accounting, one day a week they'd do their business, one day a week they could do legal, one day a week they could do media. Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
look at it like that if you've got small, depends on your numbers.
Well, yeah, because
I've got,
we're looking at delivering marketing when it comes, which will be
yeah,
September 25, and
we're
I'm
looking forward to that.
hoping, yeah, exactly, I am. So I'm hoping
Yeah,
we could do a
marketing,
foundation program with different feeder pathways.
Yep.
I'm not quite
exactly.
there with legal yet, but maybe that's in the future.
That
And then it's a nice pathway, isn't it? And I like
yeah,
that idea.
yeah, that's what I used to do many years ago for
Yeah.
old level 2 programs. Yeah, they literally got the generic information. The last term they specialised, yeah, and they just
Mhm.
had one day where they focused on marketing, because when they went on to their level 3, yeah, and then they chose their pathways. They've got that underpinning background knowledge as well.
Yeah, no,
So
that's
yeah,
fantastic. Thank you. Oh, shush.
that's
Thank you.
okay. That's perfect. And what I was going to say, Denise, finally, before, is you spoke about multiple campuses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've spoken with some providers who are sort of becoming AI technical. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what they're doing is, because they've got smaller numbers, and again, in the world of business, we're doing Zoom, we're doing Teams, aren't we? We're delivering
Yeah.
training courses online. They've taken a common theme of one particular topic and they're delivering it online via Teams, yeah, across the multiple campuses as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's developing a new digital communication skill, the etiquette of interacting with business people online. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different way of sort of engaging, isn't it, as well? So they're developing the skill set around there as well.
No, great. Thank you.
That's okay. My introduction again. Sorry, it says C Yates in front of me, so I don't know your first name.
Oh yeah, it's Claire.
Claire. Hi, Claire. Did you want to do an introduction?
Yeah, so I'm head of sixth form and business at Meadow Park Sixth Form. We're starting the business T level up this year, so 2024. I foundation is something I'm really passionate about though, because at my previous school, we did like a level 2 pathway for those students who didn't get what they needed. So I'm used to teaching like a foundation, that sort of thing. So we wouldn't be bringing it in this year, obviously, but I'm hoping that the year after or the year after, that's something that we could bring in, because I think it's what our kids need as well. Rather than just shipping them off to college, they could start with us, get what they need, and then stay with us.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
definitely. Yeah, and also, like you said, I like the foundation year and the T level, because I used to think of it as a career path. You're not coming, as Roz quite rightly said, they're not students that have not achieved. Yeah, they're just finding their starting point, yeah, to start their journey into their career as well. And obviously, one of those particular areas is around sort of getting the English and maths and the digital right. So, Hayley, did you want to share some thoughts and ideas of how you're going to, embed that into your programs?
Yeah, I think one of the really interesting things for me, I've been doing this teaching thing for quite a while now. I trained last century. And what's really interesting is, one, I'm really excited about the freedom that this feels as though it's giving us. And I think we've spent so long in a world of BTEC and all of the processes that go with that. And I think we've had, as a department, we've had a bit of a mindset shift in terms of, oh, but we love this, we don't want this to go. And actually going, okay, this is presenting us with lots of new opportunities. But it takes me back to some of the things that perhaps I used to do last century when delivering GMVQs, when things like core skills were absolutely part of what we did. So for me, I like this idea linked to the outcomes, a little bit like you've talked about, Ros, where we have set sessions every week that is project based on each of the outcomes. And then we can work with those local employers to come in and set those live assessment briefs. And then map the English, maths and digital against whatever that looks like. So I mean, my thinking is really embryonic at the moment because we've got that amount of time to be working on it. But for me, I see it as a really great opportunity to link this, because we've talked about that contextualization being relevant, and linking it to the work of employers, and again helping our students develop, working with local employers as well. So for me, I'm thinking very much about live assessment briefs where we work with employers to go, okay, that's your idea, these are our themes from the NTOs, and then we can map the English, maths and digital around that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds really good.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Sarah, can I just put in for a second? Is that all right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that sounds really good, Hayley. But I think you can think maybe a step back as well, in that it doesn't necessarily have to be like an assessment brief. If you can get some stuff from those employers that will just be development activities. So if you can have a little case study, then that's fantastic to do some of their reading. If you can get some real numbers from them when they're doing some of the finance stuff, that would be and I think it doesn't have to be sometimes. We go in and we ask an employer for so much. It's about think, well, maybe they're just asking for some little bits, because those little bits would be fantastic, wouldn't they? Would you say, Ros, that we can really think about some bits like that, can't we? Because then they'll be real life, won't they? So that would be fantastic.
Definitely. And also, as well, don't necessarily think of it as an assignment brief. I used to think more sort of around project work, or when my students used to come into the classrooms, they weren't coming in for unit 3. They thought of a name for the business, they came in, and it was kind of like a real working sort of environment as well. So we used to drop the name assignment brief, but they knew. There was another provider who had something called triple T's. So they had 3 different types of assessments along the way. So it was either sort of a presentation, a small exam.
Yeah.
Again, it's challenging that mindset that we've got ourselves into, isn't it? Over the last goodness knows how many years.
Because you've had to do all those BTEC hurdles of how many assignments, isn't it? So you're now in like, oh my God, I need to set an assignment. Just that's the trouble, isn't it? But I mean, we did, when we were writing the national technical outcomes, we really tried to point, it's some places where you could really get those English, maths or digital in. So, if those of you haven't, looked at the outcomes in any detail yet, it's really worth having a look at those in terms of where we've put in, and even like the front bit, the sort of explanation of what the outcome's about, that will really try to point you in the direction of how you might be able to use the English, maths and digital in that particular outcome.
That's really interesting, because we also teach by project on the T level. And a little tip for you as well, if you can do it, is to make sure at least one of your teachers on the foundation year teaches on the T level too. So they bring that expertise to both levels. And for the learners, they see someone they recognise, they know, that's going with them on their journey. It's not always possible in every single institution, I know that, but that's a tip that we have found has worked. Because it gives them confidence, those learners as well, I think, a little bit, because the level 2 foundation year are a little bit more cautious, nervous, need that little bit more of, I don't know, bubble wrap around them, I guess, in some ways. So therefore having that familiarity also helps, and I think that is all part of the whole kind of approach that you have to think about. Take a step back and really think about, what do you want this course to look like and how do I go about it? And for the first time ever, there is no specifications necessarily to stick by. You can just throw it all up in the air and do what you like. And that is empowering, liberating, but also for my teachers here, absolutely frightening, and I had to do a lot of support.
Panic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bit, wasn't it? But Ros, you might have already talked about this, but I think you've also had some good examples, haven't you, where you've had some of the foundation year and the T-level students maybe working together as well.
Yes,
I think
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
been really powerful as well, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
we call it buddies, but it's like mentoring in a way. So particularly those that have done the foundation year before, they're the ones we go to first. But we do mentoring of second years, T-levels to first year to the foundation year, to try and build those links up and support them through the process as well, and to help them, inspire them to get the English and Maths, but also to see the importance of all aspects of the programme of study.
But you can see there could be some good sort of English, Maths and digital projects where potentially T-level and foundation students would work together as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I could see that there would be some value in that.
Absolutely, there would be.
Obviously, we've written the outcomes for the T-level foundation year with a mind to what's on the T-level. That was always, how they were written. So therefore, I think there could be some little cross projects there that would work well.
Yes, we've not done that. We haven't done cross projects in a lot of detail yet. We're starting, but it's something to think about for the future. I said, how we do it isn't this is the way you should do it. We're just experimenting all the time, and we haven't got everything right yet. I don't think there is a right. I think you just have to see how you go, and we're always open to new ideas. So
yeah, one of my providers does that. What they do is because of small numbers and they are a school as well, they chose a common theme, as I mentioned before, chose a common theme that the T-level and the foundation year come together for the delivery of that theme. And then after 45 minutes, they then split out into the T-level or foundation group and have those differentiated activities. Then they come back together, and share their findings and how they're moving forward with their work around that. So
that's good.
again, it's working well. Denise, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts and ideas of how you're going to embed? Oh, not too sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was at the stage really of finding out the generic bits and bobs. I do know that when we've done our the level 3 T-level, it embeds naturally, really, really well. What I would like at the moment, we're in a bit of a review at the college, and I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to link up better with the Maths and English teams, because I think that is key. And sharing our schemes and sharing what we're up to, so we can try and do this whole cross link a lot better. But it's all a little bit up in the air at the moment at the college, and Maths and English, with everything in the government reforms that are coming in anyway, where we're upping hours, aren't we, to 4 and 4, which needs to be done. But I think for me, with our students, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm assuming it's very similar across colleges. Those students that haven't quite understood or got the curriculum, from year 9 all the way through to year 11, and then they repeat that exact same curriculum at college, and there's a wonder why they don't, achieve, they don't enjoy it. There's a lot to be said, isn't there, for doing it holistically. And actually, I think Maths and English needs a reform. Don't get me started on that, because that's what we're here for. But we need to think more outside the box when it comes to not only our main quals, but also our Maths and English at the age of 16, and our delivery of how we try and get these learners that, for whatever reason, have not been able to pass it at secondary school. Why? That, there's something going wrong, isn't there? And I think the whole thing needs a little bit of a look at.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, isn't it, Denise, that we still will need them to get their GCSE, and you're not going to be the GCSE Maths or English teacher, but you need to be able to give as much help as possible, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I think, and that's what we can do, can't we, with the contextualization?
Yeah.
But I think you're right, and we did some focus groups last summer where we were actually looking at, you know, what some of the requirements are for GCSE. And then some of the technical teachers were saying to us, well, I never get my students to read anything as complicated as that. Yeah, actually, that's what they're going to have to do when they're on GCSE. So we do need that little bit of an understanding, don't we, about what the requirements are for GCSE, so that we can do
and
the
also
right.
I also think that you know, I've got very able business and accounting lecturers that if I said to them, you could turn your hand at being a GCSE maths teacher or an English teacher, you could help out, and the thought of it sends them for the hills. Exactly. So it's about changing that mindset, isn't it? And us learning what their curriculum looks like, as well as them learning what our curriculum looks like, so we can have this holistic approach.
We have to do that.
Like the ideal, you know, fantasy land, doesn't it?
Yeah, we had to as managers, we were all told to do GCSE English or maths, so that we could get an understanding of what the new style of delivery is, so that we could support our curriculum teams, in helping to deliver, maths and English in a contextualized way as well. We had to also, our staff had to go and observe the English and maths lecturers, be part of the lessons. We really had to show clear communication. We also had to, take the students to the sessions as well. So we put in lots of strategies to show the students that we were having that line of communication with the English and maths team, and creating resources together. So they had like the 3 hours of GCSE English and maths, then they had an hour of contextualized, which we named it, business English, business maths, and we set a joint project together. And
so I think that sounds great, and I think as well the role modeling of doing that is amazing. Says a lot, speaks volumes. But I think with everything that's going on, with the reform that's going on, with all the qualifications that are changing, and we just don't know if we're coming or going, I think it's a lot, isn't it, all at once for our staff. So it's about those small kind of changes with that are going to be quite impactful, and support our staff to be able to kind of move into this new world without scaring them and making them, you know, panic and go into anxiety meltdown.
Great discussion, guys. I'm just going to go and have a listen to agriculture as well. Talk to you in a bit.
Thank you. Who's is it, Claire? You're not heard from yourself?
Just because obviously we are not looking to do it until 2025. I haven't even pitched the idea yet. That's what I'm trying to find before.
I don't know if it's my camera. I don't know if you're breaking up a bit. You're back.
I don't know if it's your internet or mine, but everything's just frozen for me.
I
think you're back now, Claire. You went all a bit robotic. Love technology.
So I was just saying that obviously because we wouldn't be bringing it in until 2025. I'm just here to get ideas really, because I haven't even pitched the idea of it yet. So
what's made you decide then that you actually want to sort of present this to your SNT team to sort of consider?
Because I've done it before at previous provider. We called it level 2 pathway. So they did it, their English, their maths, and 3 BTECs that were specifically for post-16 learners. But again, so for example, I delivered the BTEC business admin, basically. So again, putting it contextually for learners. So as well, with our cohort that we have, they just weren't ready to take GCSEs when the government says they have to take them. So I think they need another year to get to where the government says they need to be able to move on with their education, because they're just not ready, some of them, and that's not their fault. They're just not ready.
They do come to us not ready with those particular skills in a variety of ways as well. So we seem quite confident with, potentially identifying English and maths. The digital, again, is we have the presumption I think anyway, that the students come to us with digital skills, yeah, but they don't. They come with, you know, how to engage with social media. We have the idea that they actually can put a presentation together. They can create professional looking business documentation as well. But there's other aspects as well as digital. It's looking at specific software that they might use in the industry as well. So as you go into a specific area of business, they've always got that personalized software, haven't they, that they use. So it's opened their eyes to that around digital. So Ross, have you come across any sort of new software that you've been using or heard about?
Good question. I can't think of the name of some of the things that we use upstairs to do some of the project planning. MS Project, is it?
Yes, MS
So
Project.
we use that, and there's another one which Karen, I'll have to ask Karen what it is. She isn't here today, so therefore we do use software. But one thing we do as well within the curriculum is we look at some of those essential digital skills specifications. We don't make the students do the qualification, but we pick up some of the bits and pieces from that, so they learn basics of Excel, PowerPoint, Word, but also things on Word like margins, columns, justified, indenting bits and pieces. We do how to write a professional email in full English, not see you later and CULAR, you know, it's all those kinds of things. So we teach lessons on how to write professionally using emails, etc. And that. So yeah, a range of different things. I mean, we teach on the digital foundation year as well, because you would be amazed at how many young people actually don't know how to do the basics of laying out documents on the different programs, because they might be brilliant coders, they might be fantastic, you know, business young people with lots of ideas, but we have a lot of that in cryptocurrency. I don't know quite how that works anyway, but
That's
they
why I
don't
think
know.
your enterprise qualification's good,
Yeah,
because it's the world of business, isn't it? So
it
like you
is. Yeah,
said, they might be good at coding if they're in the world of digital. Yeah, they've got to be the digital nomads, aren't they? Now a lot of
yeah,
them work sort of independently, so they've still got to have that entrepreneurial aspect, haven't they, to go out
yeah,
and sell their business so they're successful in the future.
yeah. Yeah, so we actually, as again, part of the curriculum is about that, and we we explain what we're doing and we put a business spin on it. So a bit like what you were saying, Sarah, about, maths for business and things like that. It is like that, but it's just trying to
Yeah.
teach them the basics, and it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and it's particularly hard. It's hard, like you say, we've got to embed digital, but
Yeah,
currency, as you just said, crypto. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
How many of us handle cash as now? You know, compared to what we used to.
yeah,
Even that's a skill set. If you said to the students now, okay, what do the banknotes look like? Yeah, okay. What are they made out of? How have they changed? You know, it's different.
yeah.
Very,
And
very different.
we do teach in PC rooms as well. We don't have classrooms for business, which is different. Some people have some classrooms and not necessarily have PC rooms. So we teach in PC rooms. But hopefully the floor is going to be renovated. The business floor is going to be renovated in the building here. And when they do that, the rooms hopefully will be PCs all the way around the outside, and there'll be desk space in the middle. So we've got our
Yeah,
business meeting space in the middle, so we can do written work in the middle, project work that has to be
yeah.
kind of brainstorming, that kind of thing. But then they've got the PCs around the outside.
Yeah, we
So
called it
that's our
the boardroom. We had a
that's it.
boardroom where it literally was laid out like a boardroom. Yeah,
Yeah,
and in fact, we didn't at that particular room. We didn't put any computers in. Yeah, we literally wanted it a room that was for discussion and planning and developing communication skills verbally. You
yeah,
know, and starting to develop their presentation skills where they would come up and stand up in front. So it was more sort of a boardroom presentation room. But like you, we had rooms similar to what you said as well. So more
yeah,
more collaborative working as well.
yeah.
Okay. So has anyone got any other thoughts and ideas? So what stimulated you then? What's your next step, do you think you're going to take away from here? What your key points do you think you're going to take away and potentially share with your teams? Claire, what's inspired you to go back, do you think, to pitch the idea?
Well, I was just going to say one thing that I've learned is not to use BTEC because, yeah, I don't like BTEC anyway now, how it is, and knowing there's another option that can get us away from that, even more so, because some of our kids with BTEC, with the rigidity of it, they can't access it. It is just not. Whereas if there's something that has more leeway, maybe with deadlines and things, and it's more focused around stuff that they actually are going to need when they're older, that's the something that I'm going to. Yeah, that's something that I've learned today.
So, Denise, what about yourself?
Mine will be, like I say, you've clarified how I'm going to do my foundation and the exactly what you just said there about the getting away from BTEC into NCFE and keep it that really holistic approach, and then different pathways is exactly what I wanted to do, and you've clarified that I can, so that's brilliant.
Perfect. So there's been so many years that we've wanted to say, haven't we? You know,
Yes.
we've known about BTEC rigidity of everything. Yeah, this is the first time, you know, we've
Yeah.
been allowed to actually put that course together. We always thought would be the perfect course. Hayley, what
Yeah,
about yourself?
Yeah, my takeaway is embrace the freedom. And that's quite novel for us, isn't it? As you've just said, Sarah, that we're able to go, oh yeah, that's what we'd like to see, and we can put that together.
Yeah.
And I think it's that contextualization for local labour market needs as well. You know, the opportunities to really respond to what our employers want is quite exciting.
Excellent. Brilliant. Ros, what about yourself? What changes would you like to see, do you think, in your programme?
I think I'd like to see more progress up to the T level than last year. I mean, it was our first run through last year, and we only had 20% progress up to the T level.
Yeah.
But nationally, it's a problem. It's an issue everywhere. So we've done a lot of thinking about why that is, and why are the reasons the young person isn't progressing up,
But don't you think that's
etc.
the nature of business admin? Because again, my background's business, and you know, like yourself, you know, yeah, I might have had a class, we might have had a class of 25 students, but maybe only 40% progressed to the level 3 business, but others used to progress exactly like the profile Ros has just described when she was sharing with us. Mine was like that, but when I used to go to SMT, they used to ask why we're not more progressing to business. But I think because it's so generic business, it gives them fantastic transferable skills to be able to be successful in whatever direction they take.
Yeah,
So
and we had a number go to an apprenticeship because they felt they were ready for work.
yeah,
But they're still learning. So, you know, and if they've done the level 2, they can still do the level 3 administration apprenticeship standards. So they can still do that. So it's about exploring that. But I think one of the things that we've concentrated on this year is creating the link more so between the foundation year and the T
yeah,
level, and hopefully that will aid to better progression. But for us, it's learning all the time, constantly learning, reviewing, and reflecting, because it is still new.
yeah, yeah. Ross said something interesting there actually about, you know, thinking it is that bridging. Yeah, as you get towards the final months of the foundation year, it is creating those real good bridging opportunities as well. We've got to leave the breakout room in a minute. So yeah, think about those bridging opportunities as well. In the chat, I have put the link to the networking on the 20th of March with a little bit of an overview of what Vanessa's going to be discussing. And it ties in beautifully for what Ros has just spoken about. Ros has really successfully set the scene. And yeah, to take that a little bit step further, yeah, into sort of stepping outside of the English and maths. This looks at the NTOs, the sequencing of the delivery plan as well. And one bit I was interested in that Vanessa was talking about how they've brought back in the personal development coaches and embedded that into their program as well. So hopefully you found that useful. Great. Thank you to Ros. Really appreciate
Pleasure.
that. We've all got to head back to the breakout room.
Okay.
See you soon.